Bad Guys 2 is getting closer and closer to release, and because of that, we've got an incredible new trailer that definitely got all the fans even more hyped. But did you catch all the hidden details in the sequel's trailer? One thing we can say for sure is that we got a bunch of new hints about what's going to happen in the movie. From the earlier trailers, it looked like Mr. Wolf's gang was being forced back into the world of crime by the bad girls. And, well, that's pretty much true. But now we know something really important. They're going to be double agents, secretly working with the police. And we know they're not faking it because, besides having a conversation with Misty Luggins, the police chief in one scene, they're seen jumping out of a police helicopter in another. Here's where the real detail kicks in. If you look closely, you'll see Misty herself is flying that chopper. It's kind of wild to think she's gonna work with the bad guys since she was one of their biggest enemies in the first movie. But hey, that's life. What goes around comes around. And this is just the first of 16 amazing details and Easter eggs you missed in the new Bad Guys 2 trailer. So buckle up because this is Cinewave coming at ya. If you watched any of the trailers for this sequel, you probably noticed that after quitting their life of crime, Mr. Wolf and his crew ended up going totally broke. I mean, who's gonna hire an ex-professional thief? For obvious reasons. You can tell their financial situation is seriously bad just by looking at their TV. Not only is it an old tube television, but they even stuck a wire hanger on it, probably to act as an antenna, since they clearly can't afford to buy even a basic one. Let's be real, a lot of people are going to relate to the bad guys in this sequel. Who hasn't had to come up with a janky setup like that when money was tight? If you're still not convinced that the main characters are really down bad, then you probably missed the scene where Mr. Wolf goes for a job interview. He dressed up real nice and even put together a cute little resume, but if you actually read it, it's full of hilarious little gems. For example, in the spot where he was supposed to write his email, he just typed, "Will be added soon, once I can afford internet." I mean, that's rough. Imagine not even having enough for basic Wi-Fi. No wonder he's out job hunting. He probably can't even watch our videos. But hands down, the best part of the resume is the skills list. Mr. Wolf lists the following. Quick thinker. Makes sense. A pro thief always needs to know how to improvise on the fly. Moves like a thief. Wonder why, right? Mastermind of heists. That's what he originally wrote, but then crossed it out and replaced it with mastermind of customer service. Collecting money. Again, no clue why he's so good at that, huh? Great leader. Okay, this one's totally true. Seriously, whoever came up with that scene deserves a huge raise. Those jokes were brilliant. And the craziest part? Most people totally missed them while watching the trailer. Then there's the section where Mr. Wolf is supposed to talk about his education, like high school or college, but instead he just writes, "Recently graduated from a life of crime and currently enrolled in a new beginning with a bright future ahead." Not sure if highlighting his criminal background was the smartest move in a job application, especially since, based on how he phrased it, it sounds like he didn't even finish high school. Wait, is that actually the case? That would explain a lot. Maybe that's what led him into a life of crime in the first place. The funny details aren't just in Mr. Wolf's resume, there are other great little touches in this scene, like the chart on the wall, which shows a bunch of lines dropping straight down. Since this is clearly a business office, that graph probably shows the bank's profits, and let's just say things are not looking good. They're clearly losing more money each day. So honestly, Mr. Wolf might not be missing out by not getting hired there. Odds are the company's going to go bankrupt soon anyway, and everyone will be out of a job. Then again, he has robbed that place 3 times. Maybe the bank is going under because of him. So, are you hyped to watch the sequel to The Bad Guys also? If yes, drop a comment below, #BadGuys. Even though the bank is clearly going through its worst moment, that doesn't seem to shake the pride of the guy interviewing Mr. Wolf. He must be a top-tier manager, considering there are several framed photos of his face on the wall. Based on the style of the frames, we're guessing those are Employee of the Month awards given by the boss. Too bad he didn't have the brilliant vision of hiring Mr. Wolf. Hiring a former bank robber to work at a bank would actually be a genius move. He knows every trick in the book when it comes to breaking into a place like that and could help protect it from other criminals. The only issue is, what if he decides to go back to his old ways? Some of the funniest scenes in the first movie featured Mr. Shark, who can disguise himself as literally anyone, which makes no sense at all considering he's a giant shark, and that's exactly what makes it even funnier. We already know this kind of gag will be back in the new movie, since he's going to impersonate an Italian wedding planner. And when the van for that business shows up, there's a cute little Easter egg on the license plate. The plate code is LOV34EVA, which is internet speak for love forever. Remember how we talked about Mr. Wolf's house and how he stuck a clothes hanger on his TV? Another detail that shows just how broke the bad guys really are is their couch. It's completely beat up and falling apart. it's obvious none of them can afford a new one. The bad guys are broke, and at this point saying that again is just kicking a dead dog, or rather a wolf. But being broke in money doesn't mean they're broke in knowledge. They've got a stack of books tossed on a shelf, and one of the book covers says pottery. That might mean one of them is learning how to make things by hand, maybe because buying clay and crafting their own stuff is cheaper than actually buying anything new. But knowing the bad guys, you just know they're going to use that skill to get out of some crazy situation. How exactly? It's probably going to be so wild that there's no point trying to guess. A few police helicopters show up in the trailer, but don't worry. Like we said earlier, this time the bad guys are actually working with law enforcement. What's odd though is the code printed on the helicopters. All aircraft have these codes for identification. The strange part? The exact same code shows up on multiple helicopters in the trailer, which makes zero sense. In real life, each one is supposed to have a unique code so they don't get mixed up. Mr. Wolf wasn't the only one job hunting and totally bombing the interview. Piranha also gave it a shot. His interview takes place at a parking garage, and the reason he applied there is super simple. There's a sign in the window that's facing outward, so we see it backwards from inside, but it clearly says hiring. Mr. Piranha was probably walking around looking for any job opening, saw that sign and thought this might be my big break. And hey, your big chance to have some fun is right in front of you. Just hit that subscribe button and come hang with us. We're always posting new videos about your favorite animated movies and shows. In the same scene with Piranha, besides the sign, there's also a flyer that we see backwards because we're looking at it from the inside. If you flip the text around, you can read the message, which means no parking, you will be towed. It's kind of funny seeing that in a parking lot, which is literally where people are supposed to park their cars, but the flyer is probably referring to a specific reserve spot or something like that. And if that wasn't enough, there's another flyer right next to it which we can also only understand once it's flipped. Unlike the last one, this one is an ad for a car that's for sale. But that doesn't really matter to the bad guys, since they clearly can't afford anything more expensive than a coat hanger. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. You can really feel how much the production team cares about this movie when you notice details like this. Things that didn't need to be there, but absolutely make the world feel more real and immersive. The bad guys have done a lot of wild stuff in their lives, and the flashback at the beginning of the trailer, showing them pulling off a heist, is a perfect reminder of that. One hilarious detail is that when the car launches into the air, everyone looks thrilled. I mean, they're fearless. But there's one exception to that rule. Miss Tarantula looks like she's about to pass out from sheer terror. And honestly, it makes total sense. She's the group's hacker, so she's usually the one not in the middle of danger. Even though Mr. Wolf is flat out broke, at least he still owns a car. Sure, it's a total wreck, falling apart and looks like it could explode at any second. But hey, it's still a car. There is one tiny little detail that makes it a bit more stylish though. Someone drew a smiley face on one of the windows. Since the glass is filthy, all it took was a finger swipe to leave the mark. So it's pretty likely some kid spotted the car on the street and drew it just to mess with the owner, who in this case is Mr. Wolf. Talk about rock bottom, huh? Still in the mood for more fun? If so, just click on one of the 2 videos we've left on your screen. That way you can keep hanging out with us. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!